I'm Mike Hinderleiter with Facilitech Southwest, and I want to do an educational video this evening on inspection of a kitchen exhaust system for kitchen owners, managers, and anybody else that would be involved in looking at the kitchen exhaust system after a cleaning service has been performed. I got Tom Judd with me, which is the operations manager for Facilitech Southwest. I also have Javier Cabral, who is our area supervisor. He runs around and checks on all the night crews and makes sure they're doing the work they need to do. We're going to do this video in English and Spanish. So we'll explain something in English and followed up by Spanish so that you can train your staff on site to come in after the cleaning service and make sure it's been done correctly. The inspection on this hood system, the system's been in service for a couple of months. It's not that dirty. We're coming in here before the cleaning right now, and as you can see, it's like I said, it's not dirty, but we're doing this for demonstration purposes so that we can get a video up for training. But the areas that you want to look for, now it's easy to look inside a hood where it's visible in front of the filters and in the canopy area to see if it's been cleaned and wiped down correctly. And of course that's usually shiny, it looks good, but where you really want to look and where your area of concern is behind the filters. The filters have already been taken out of the system. And I'm going to climb up here real quick and talk about inside this track. A lot of times grease will get left behind and you'll get grease built up in there. Behind, this is called the plenum area, where grease buildup will get in behind here, inside this plenum area. And if you want me to hold it real quick, I'll do a shot. Right here is the grease filter track, and the grease comes down and runs out of that, and it goes down into this area down here, and usually there is a drip pan here. And then inside here is the top side of the filter rack where grease will get built up. And then behind here is called the plenum area. Where behind the plenum area, a lot of times that'll get missed and there'll be grease in behind there.
Well, hi, my name is Tom Judd. I just kind of wanted to touch about the fire suppression portion of the hood. By NFPA 96 code, inside that bracket where you see the fusible link, you shouldn't get any caustic chemicals on that because that will affect the integrity of the fusible link itself. So when you're inspecting it, you might see some grease built up on that, but you know, that's okay. And if there's grease inside the pipe, you need to contact your fire suppression company to come out and replace the pipes or clean it themselves. You also want to take a look at your red caps on your fire suppression nozzles. Those need to be in place. If they're hanging off, grease will accumulate on those and clog the nozzles, and if it needs to go off, then it might impede the system from dumping and extinguishing the fire.
The other thing for inspecting the system is to check the ductwork to make sure it's clean. That's one of the primary areas that you don't see that needs to be cleaned. You need a flashlight, you need to get on top of the equipment, make sure the equipment is secure, safe, covered up, 3/4 inch plywood or something, or a ladder, but whatever you do, make sure you're safe getting over the equipment. A lot of times there's may have grease, hot grease underneath you, or before you start the equipment up in the morning, get in, check it before anything that can hurt you. Safety is number one. Anyway, you get your flashlight, look up inside the duct, look to see that all the areas are clean to bare metal. If the duct turns, that means there's horizontal runs inside the duct. It doesn't go straight vertical to the fan. If you've got horizontal runs inside the duct, that means you need to have access panels. If you don't have access panels, you're going to need to get them installed so that you inspect the system and to make sure it's been cleaned properly. You also need the access panels to clean the system correctly. On this system, we do have a turn. Okay, now we're on another hood, and in this hood we have a straight shot all the way to the fan. And it's quite obvious when you see the bottom of the fan because you can see the blades and stuff. The one thing the only concern you may have when on a vertical duct is the length of the duct to the fan. If you've got multiple floors, and you can't clean the entire system. You want to have access panels every 10 feet to every floor inside the system. The other common method for cleaning is to run a spin jet down through there to clean it all. But again, the most important thing is clean the bare metal. The other area of inspection will be on the rooftop. You got your fan motor, you got your fan, obviously. The fan blades get coated with grease. So we're going to look on the bottom side of the fan where normally you need to have the inspection. So typically the best thing to have on the roof is a hinge kit, so it's easy for yourself or your managers to inspect after the hood cleaning. That way it'll tilt backwards. You can see underneath the blades and you can see down the duct. The other area inspection will be on the roof where you have the fan. We want to see underneath to see the blades. We want to see down the duct. Normally the best way to do this is to have a hinge kit on it. This fan does not have a hinge kit, so it creates difficulty. It's hard on the fan. It's hard on the wiring. You increase the risk of damage to the fan and damage to the wiring. You'll see we'll have a little difficulty here when we get this fan off because it has a short wire. So we're going to flip this fan and take a look.
I got it. You're good.
Okay. All right. We can't keep the fan up here because the wiring's so short. Anyway, here's the inside of the fan blades. They're not that dirty. They'll be pretty easy to clean. These hasn't been cleaned yet. The other thing about the fan system, a lot of times, or a common problem after a cleaning is the fan will be wobbling. If the fan's wobbling, usually that means the fan blades weren't cleaned properly. It's about 90% of the time if you get a call back or have an error with the cleaning issue, we go back, re-clean the fan, it generally works good after that. And then down the duct, so there we want to inspect, want to look down the duct, see how clean it is. As you can see with this duct, it's grease free, it's down to bare metal, that's why you see all the rust. This duct doesn't go straight down, that's why there's a turn at the bottom. As you can see, there is no kitchen equipment below this duct, so you know that it's got horizontal. Here's an example of a duct that goes all the way down to the kitchen exhaust cooking equipment, and just ignore there's an extension cord running through this duct because we needed lighting on the roof. The other thing you want to be concerned with when you're looking at the roof is collection of grease around the fan. Grease will collect on the rooftop, it'll deteriorate the integrity of the roof, it'll begin to leak, it'll lead into the membrane, so it's important that there's not any grease left on the roof. On the front of the fan is a drip spout. This spout lets the grease come out, and there's products that you can put here to absorb the grease. Sometimes this isn't enough because grease will leak all the way around the fan. So there's other products that will go all the way around the fan to absorb the grease. Different products on the market. The one that we use at Facilitech is Grease Guard. Besides the grease problem that may be on the roof that's produced from the fan, the other thing you want to make sure is that your kitchen exhaust cleaners, when they clean the fan, don't just blow the grease to another area on the roof. You want to make sure that they're cleaning the fan and putting that grease down the duct, or pushing it off the roof and collecting that grease and disposing of it correctly. In closing, I'm Mike Kinderleiter, owner of Facilitech Southwest.
My name's Tom Judd, Operations Manager.
This is Javier Cabral. He's our area supervisor. If you have any further questions or need any more information, feel free to give us a call. You can reach us at 866-466-3339. Thank you.